What the fuck is going on, guys? Happy New Year. Well, I mean, we're way past that, but we're in 2022. It's been 2 weeks. The Kai Beam podcast is back at it again. And of course, I'm your host, Kai Beam, and I have with me Gomdo and Mr. Elusive, as always. So, this week we have quite a few topics that, we've all shared in our little group chat that we want to talk about. As I stated before, though, we had a double holiday shit going on. We had Christmas, we had New Year's, so we just took those 2 weeks off. So we have kind of like a backlog of shit we want to get to. We had the Hawkeye finale. Matrix came out. That was a fucking shitty movie. Spider-Man No Way Home. That was a fucking awesome movie. We have the Megan and Tori shit. We have listen. If this rumor is true that Flash is going to erase everything that came before, I don't know. And then we have Weekend. He dropped his album, and then we also the Book of Boba Fett 1 and 2 episodes. Book of Boba Fett started. Been watching that, and we have all sorts of different shit to talk about. So we wanted to start off with the Spider-Man No Way Home stuff, right? Because that's kind of it's kind of been a couple weeks since that came out. Yeah, man, we're just gonna get straight into spoilers. We've all seen it at this point. If you don't want to get spoiled, do not listen. I guess just skip ahead. But goddamn, was this movie everything you wanted it to be? It's just like going in. It's like I was just like, man, like, is this really gonna hit the markers that were? And it's like, yeah, man, Marvel they did it. That's all I can say.
They did what?
They did it. We're talking about Spider-Man No Way Home, Izzy. But
I know we're talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. They did what?
No, I'm just saying.
I mean, the movie was decent. I wouldn't go start giving them any awards.
I'm not listeing to this nigga. We already know. Wait. By now, if you listen,
I do gotta hear it. Because we've all seen it. Me and Beam have the same opinion.
And by the way, I saw this movie twice, so I'm not gonna be over here trying to speak from just because I saw it once. I saw it twice.
Yeah,
so
nigga, I saw it twice too. You ain't special, nigga.
Yeah,
I saw it twice too.
I'm the only one that saw it once. But no, what was your opinion about it? You're saying it's decent. What did you think of it?
Huh?
You said it was.
You already
decent.
know what this nigga's gonna nitpick the fuck out.
Why did you like? I mean, I'm not gonna say it because no, it'd be different if he said it was just outright bad like that. No, like what was your opinion on it? Because you like a week ago or 2 weeks ago or even 3 weeks ago, you said, "Hey, this thing is gonna be shit," and I want to hear your opinion about it now after you watched it twice. So the floor is yours.
First of all, they dragged out the entire nonsense Mysterio plot crap from the end of Far From Home. Then after they got that resolved and somehow got to the regular plot of the movie, they just went on this entire circle of, hey, let's save the box. Let's save the box. Do I want to press the button on the box? No. Okay, I don't want to press the button in the box. Let's save the box. Like, what the hell is going on? And by the way, I didn't really like that, like the end of the movie where like they're pretty much over here trying to make up somehow believe that after Doctor Strange cast that spell, even though everybody somehow forgot about fucking Peter Parker, all the you want to tell me all the videotapes and pictures and shit that is plastered everywhere in the fucking world, like nobody don't have those archive and files anymore?
I mean,
magic doesn't work that way, bro.
Are you sure? I don't know because like, they didn't really explain it. Like that's one thing I'm curious about it myself because
I'm pretty sure magic would wipe away that too.
No,
it's fucking
not really.
It's fucking magic, bro. What else?
Yeah, no.
But I will say, Izzy, I do agree with you on the front.
That is fucking stupid. That doesn't explain shit.
The beginning of the movie, while I can forgive it because I just fucking love this movie to death, I can at least say the beginning is slow. That I will say. It does drag on a little bit in terms of,
and like, also, I mean,
day-to-day shit.
It was a good going movie experience because I mean the first time I saw it, I enjoyed it more because like the second time I saw it, even though I only saw it with Babe, but like the movie theater way too fucking packed up, and it smelled like fucking feet in that bitch. It took 30 minutes. It took 30 minutes. I think that's probably why like I kind of got I didn't enjoy it too much the second time because it took about 30 minutes before they had to kick up the AC. By then I already breathed up enough fucking feet placed in there, so like
that's
I
probably
didn't
how
really,
you got COVID right there. God,
most
damn.
likely.
Yeah, no, for real though. Yeah, man, because I remember like the second time, I went, it was packed, but it wasn't like as bad as it was.
And you gotta imagine, I saw both of them both times in IMAX, but like the first IMAX I saw it in, like the theater that I saw it in is one of those theaters that people don't go to anymore. So I had like the entire space to myself. Like that theater was like it was about 15 people in the theater, and that's a theater that's meant to seat about 100 plus people. And we had like 15 people in that, so it was like a fucking great experience.
And all of them
Second
had
time,
like that bad like hygiene, I guess, and they all just
no, the first time it was a great experience because that was when like the theater, like everything was on point. That was the theaters I like people barely go to. But the second time me and Bae went out, she want to go to the popular fucking movie theater.
Oh.
Yeah, that's when that shit fucking smell of fucking feet.
That's disgusting. Yeah,
the damn place. Yeah.
Oh,
if you're ever going somewhere public, make sure like you wash your ass because just because you're wearing a mask doesn't mean that shit can't like go through your mask. You can still smell it. Like I think I don't know. I think people just kind of thought they would get away with it, but it can still smell you. So yeah, please wash your ass.
Oh yeah. Besides like the theater experience, like the movie was decent. I'm not gonna lie. Like I have a lot. Like the reason like. What I'm gonna say right now, right? If I'm gonna judge this movie like the way I want to judge it, I would tell you like it was like okay-ish movie. But because like the reason like it's kind of good for me is because like I've seen every Spider-Man before No Way Home. So by No Way Home, like by the events that happened in No Way Home, it just made every other Spider-Man like the time I wasted watching every Spider-Man worth it. So it's kind of like a home run. So that's why I say it's a decent movie. But
yeah,
if you haven't seen like any of the previous Spider-Man, like even Bae, like she really don't like Spider-Man, but like when Toby fucking came in, that bitch, like she was pretty much like cheering about that shit. So
yeah.
Even as somebody who hasn't seen
because I think
all the Spider-Man movie, they at least recognize at least one of the Spider-Man. Out of
if
Toby,
you don't recognize it, like that's kind of on the viewer because you have to acknowledge that, like again, like we said, like last podcast, that Spider-Man is one of the most infamous characters like on like media, like on any sort of media platform, and like Tobey Maguire was like known as the OG Spider-Man, and like Andrew Garfield. So,
yeah, that's what I think this movie did in a great way. Is it's like you have the three generations of Spider-Man. You have the Spider-Man now, you have the Spider-Man before, and then you have the super OGs. And it's like it almost felt like it was a continuation of their stories as well, right? Which and then it leaves the door open because I don't know if you've heard rumors. And these are just rumors, take this show with a grain of salt, but this isn't the last time we're seeing Andrew or Toby for that matter, because the thought is apparently is that because, Venom left a piece of the symbiote, left a piece of symbiote in the MCU, that's going to be an entirely different Eddie, right? So the thought is that perhaps Tom Hardy and Andrew are the ones that are going to be fighting. And that Tom Hardy's Eddie and him are going to be fighting. So maybe they'll do their own version of the symbiote saga, like twofold, one with Tom and one with Andrew. That would be pretty dope, honestly, because then at that point, when you want to do another Spider-Man ensemble movie, you have two different versions of Venom meeting. That would be pretty dope, honestly. And then you have, all this stuff like they've experienced, and you could add some other Spider-Man in there or whatever. But they even talked about briefly Miles in here, like a shout out to him too, right? So I mean, with these next set of movies that they plan to do, which I gotta also say too, it is cool that you take a look from Homecoming until now. Like these entire movies have just been an origin story for this man, right? So it's just so dope. By the end of this movie, he's actually Spider-Man. Like he's legit Spider-Man. Nigga made his own costume. He had his important death scene, which that was rough for him. You know, Aunt May was basically his Uncle Ben. She had to die for him to understand.
I gotta say, I'm really glad they actually chose her and didn't do an Uncle Ben flashback
Me
because,
too.
like,
Me too.
if they had did that and they had show Uncle Ben just dying,
diminished. It would have
that
diminished everything.
that would have made
would've.
it so much worse just because of the fact that there was no context, no prior history, because it just would have
Nope.
been some random dude who had some like relation to Peter Parker, and he would have just been like, "Remember what your Uncle Ben said?" And we would have just saw him just laying down on his back from a gunshot wound.
And I'm kind of glad because I'm like you said, I'm glad they did it in this manner because not only does it the way the progression of, well, obviously you have to see all the other previous entry in the Tom Hardy's or whatever the fucking name, Tom's fucking franchise of Spider-Man. You got to see like the previous entry, but because of the previous entries in the Spider-Man saga, it like the build up to this actually works very well. Like you were saying, like it's kind of like his prequel story, and now he's finally stepping up to this plate of Spider-Man, and it works great in here too because you have like guys who were already Spider-Man years before him,
Yeah.
giving him those advice, and by the end of the movie, you actually saw that evolution and all the conflict in his character build up to the end of the movie of him ultimately making his decision to like be his own Spider-Man and get rid of some of the like the high tech nonsense that he was
relying on.
And
Yeah.
even though like as like a younger Spider-Man than all of them, he had like some of like the how do you say this, like some of the like
Best
the most
development.
not only best development, but like some of like the most world splitting adventures and battles and stuff, because like they all basically compare rosters of battles that they have been in as Spider-Man.
Right.
And he's the youngest among all of them, but he's had more battles than all of them combined. Like this man literally saved the planet. They all were still like,
yeah, they were very
they were
planetary
still
in their
planetary and like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Not even
always.
planetary. It was just they were
City,
just like city based.
City based.
They didn't
City
really go
based
nowhere.
heroes.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, like-
to its credit too, I just want to add on, like, you know, Tom Holland Spider-Man has really dealt like the worst. Like, he's lost literally everything, and
Right.
Yeah, no,
Like,
literally everything.
like the reason, like, I give this movie praise because they did something very bold where there wasn't a happy ending. The shit's not happy. Like,
No,
they might
it's
try to
not.
seem like it's
Especially
happy
with
when he's like
it was
swinging in the
depressing as
snow
shit.
and everything, but the fact that he's sitting in his apartment, like, he's
Alone.
only 17 years. He's only 17 years old. He's like
No,
sitting.
he should be 18 at this point, I guess, because that was like
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
his
he
birthday
should
is like
be
in
18.
August, so yeah, he is
Right.
like 18. But yeah, he's all by himself. You know, everyone doesn't
no
know
family.
him.
Nobody know his ass at all. He's like
Yeah.
pretty much forgotten by everybody who loves and cares about him.
It's literally the
Exactly.
definition. Like, he literally has like the burden of knowledge that people will never have. Like, any person he runs across now, because he's pretty much like given the gift of the future. Because he's like, hey, this is the people that I've dealt with in my past. Because now he has to watch out for if a Harry Osborn shows up, if a Gwen Stacy shows up. So he's literally kind of living in like slight paranoia. And whenever the Venom
Right.
symbiote attaches to him, boy, he's gonna be a menace. Because
Yeah,
all that
he is.
all that frustration of losing people, and
Gonna bring it out in the worst
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
because it was already brought out a little bit towards the end when he was fighting Green Goblin, which I gotta say,
that
William
fight was-
Dafoe, like,
He carried
reason-
he carried that film too, by the
No,
way.
yeah, and
he
the reason
did.
why I say this movie is so good is because the fact that like I would give it more praise than what Izzy's giving praise to, just because I have the context of like the behind the scenes, because they listened to exactly what the fans wanted. Because when the first Spider-Man came out, like, everyone was like wondering like, why did Willem Dafoe wear a goblin mask when he has a face that resembles a goblin? Like, those scenes in Spider-Man 1 where he would have like this duality of the goblin and Norman Osborn in the mirror, that was like perfect. And the fact that they did this now, like, it was like, wow, they actually listened. They actually listened to what the fans wanted and didn't keep the mask, because it was just taking away from like his performance.
Right.
So
yeah, I gotta
Because
say,
he's
man,
really one of those actors who's good at making faces while
yeah,
he's like acting.
he's
Yeah.
just really talented. Yeah,
Right.
and it's just like, dude, yeah, he stole every scene he was in, man. Like
No,
he
he
just
carried the
fucking
movie, bro.
like, bro, when they first had their first battle where he riled up everyone else to like turn against Peter. Yeah, dude, he was beating the shit out of him. Like
He was.
he was doing like wrestling moves on this man,
Right, like
pound driving this
body
motherfucker.
slamming and suplexing the shit out of this man. And I forgot that the Goblin Serum literally gives this man like Captain America level kind of fucking strength and
he
shit.
might
And
be stronger than Captain
He
America.
might be
That's
strong.
the thing.
Yeah,
Dude, the way they portrayed him here, yeah, dude. Yeah, he was
This-
like,
it
like
was
he had
crazy.
Peter limping after that first. He said, "Oh shit,
right.
oh god," he's
He
just like
beat the
fucking
crap
trying.
out of him. And keep in mind, this guy's an old man who's like in his like late 60s and shit. And he was just kicking the crap out of Peter's ass, like up and down, was suplex this man right down the damn from the third floor. Wasn't it like
Yeah,
No,
no,
he was
in-house
up,
from the
he
building
was
all the
up
way
on
on
some
the- yeah.
stories. He was
yeah,
up on some
literally
stories, and they
from
went
the
all the
top
way
of their
down.
fucking pad all the way down. He literally fucking just ran his ass all the way down through the entire.
So yeah,
And
he
I
ran the
can't-
gauntlet on this man's life.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how unsettling it was because every time because they kind of established it in like in previous Spider-Man like Homecoming or the Home series movies how strong Peter is if he like doesn't hold back when he like knocked
And
out
I
Flash on
love-
the bus. Bro, when
Yeah.
he's like punching Norman and this guy is just laughing at his face, bro.
Yeah,
the whole
he
theater
wasn't
was
pulling
like
his
the whole
punches,
theater
dude.
was
He
like
was
holy
pissed off.
shit.
Crazy.
That whole
Yeah,
like
dude,
the
that
whole
was
theater
crazy.
that I was in was just like, oh fuck, because like they know
Yeah.
how strong Peter is, and he was just
And that-
smiling.
that
He
talk-
wasn't
like,
even bleeding.
I really
Nope.
thought he was gonna kill Norman because he was not pulling his punches at
Yeah,
all.
dude,
No.
at
This
that
was just
final
taking his
fight,
punch like nothing.
true, dude, that final fight was, oh man, dude, do you remember that ground punch he did, that dent this
Yeah.
nigga made? Yeah, he was trying to really kill him, dude,
Yeah,
and
I
he
guess-
was beating the fuck out of him. Like I was like,
I gotta say, like the way they lined this movie up, because now I'm getting excited about it again. Because like when I had saw it and I left the theater, I really felt like this was transitioning into like the Spider-Man PS4 because it took a lot of similarities from that storyline a little bit. I mean, you had the Aunt May death, you had Peter looking at his scanner and stuff, and he's basically like all by himself. But just the way that they're organizing like a possible sequel, which I'm pretty sure they announced it was gonna happen because
yeah,
I
they
think
did.
Kevin Feige said
Kevin
like, hey,
Feige-
we're gonna
Kevin Feige
start
himself.
working so people don't get like separation anxiety because if they wanted to, they could just say, hey, that's the end of Spider-Man's story. He can show up as like a cameo or whatever, which it would be kind of ridiculous if they did do that. Like, I think there's a lot of things they could have did wrong with this film.
Oh no,
Like-
definitely there were a lot of
Yeah.
shit that
Because
could-
I can imagine what they would have done, and this is what it would have happened for Sony if this would have happened. Like if Sony was the one directing, like they would have showed Tom, like
in the
Tobey
trailer
Maguire Spider-Man.
and
like, when they
Andrew
opened the
Garfield in the
portal-
trailer.
Oh no, not that. I was gonna say like they probably would have done that as like a teaser, but what they would have done is they would have had Ned open up a portal, and when they
Yeah.
called like Andrew Garfield, they're like, "Hey, Peter, come here." They would have closed the portal right on his face. Like,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they would have done that because Sony doesn't. I don't know. Like they played ball really well. Like this is actually like the first time they were like, "Hey, like." We'll get you what you want. Like Amy Pascal seems to be like in good faith because, I don't know. I've read things about her where she got upset when Kevin Feige asked for the Spider-Man rights. She threw a sandwich at his head. I don't know. Like this is like the true Spider-Man movie right here. Like I really can't wait for this to come out.
I mean,
All
by
together.
current date, it is like the definitive Spider-Man movie right now because you can't really get a better experience. I mean, besides like Into the Spider-Verse and whatnot, but like
Yeah,
you can't really get a better experience or playing the video games. But yeah,
but
pretty
that's
much,
what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
that right
Also-
there literally made it feel like because I'll say it like this. Imagine if you got done watching Spider-Man No Way Home, and then all of a sudden you played Spider-Man PS4 next. that almost
Right.
made it seem like you could just have
A
a seamless
continuation.
transition. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
I mean, of
And I
course, the
think I
things
think
wouldn't
it's
line
just
up because Aunt May's still
yeah.
alive. But I mean,
Aunt May is still alive, and then also, he has his own version of MJ in there, which, they allude to the fact that probably, maybe at some point, Ned and MJ will find out, or he'll tell them eventually. Maybe, I don't know, if he can convince them of everything that happened.
I
But
if I was me, I wouldn't even tell Ned
no, I
because
wouldn't. I wouldn't either, just because like it's just crazy. Like, you're gonna, "Well, yeah, you were my girlfriend, and like we went through all this, like, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know you. I
and
don't.
I mean,
What,
he would have had proof because he had the necklace on him. I think.
no, she
no,
has the necklace.
she was
She
wearing it.
kept the necklace.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he has a necklace. He could be like, "Hey, I gave this to you. It's one of a kind." Like the thing is, like they deleted his records because, like, you're right, Izzy. It doesn't really make any sense, but it did happen. Like all of Peter Parker's like stuff just wiped off the face of the earth.
No,
That's the reason why he
dude.
had to take the GED.
At the end of the
right.
movie, right?
Right.
At the end of the movie, the necklace that he actually gave MJ, she's still wearing it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's still wearing it. She doesn't know where it came from, at least
Right.
from what we know until the next movie pretty much explains it, which I think they said they will do. Like they'll just
Yeah.
continue off of the effects of Peter Parker no longer existing because, again, like I said, everything about him was just wiped out. I don't know
Yeah.
how, but it's Doctor Strange. If he can create mirror portals to a mirror dimension, he can wipe them. It's a pretty powerful spell. It's the reason why Wong said don't do it. This shit's super dangerous.
Right. Now, which that also leads, well, before we lead into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because there's some stuff on that too that we were talking about off mic, but we're gonna see the residual effects of this shit seeping into over there, which is why the multiverse is breaking. But I also want to quickly highlight too with No Way Home. Yeah, man, one of the best scenes that happened too was, Matt Murdock showing up, bro. Like, I was just like,
No one in my theater,
go,
like only like a
bro.
handful of people in my
Recognizes
theater
him?
recognized it. Yeah, no,
What
because a
the
lot
so
of people didn't understand like who that was. They're like,
right.
who's this blind guy with surprisingly red glasses? He caught him.
and really good reflexes.
Yeah, dude. First night I saw it, the opening night I saw it, pretty much the entire theater knew. We were just like, yeah, fucking clapping. But yeah, you're right. I don't think much people have the context because they didn't watch the Netflix stuff. So to see it happen here, though, it's like, let's fucking
The first time I watched it, I think like I was probably the only person who recognized him because, like I said, 15 people in the IMAX theaters, and I was just chilling all the way in the back. I just had a smile on my face when I saw that because like the idea that when I don't know who was the dickbag that threw a rock in from across the street. Like, how the hell did you even throw a brick while they're on the fucking fourth floor of a damn apartment building? How did you get a brick in the damn apartment? But like he just basically caught it, and he's like, "How did you do that?" It's like,
I'm a really good lawyer.
Nah, bro, lawyers don't have that kind of reflexes.
It's like, yeah, but you're blind.
And that's the thing that I really wish they kept because like the movie was supposed to be like a lot longer. We're supposed to get scenes of like Matt Murdock defending Spider-Man, and then he was gonna have a talk with him. Yeah, in court, and then he was gonna be like, "Hey, like this vigilante shit, like it comes with a price." And
right.
That's what it would lead. He was like, "Yeah, how do you know about this?" He's like, "Man, don't worry about it, nigga." Like,
you gotta remember, like, you remember how they Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness should have happened before Spider-Man. So like they had an entire different rosters of people that they wanted to be in the movie instead of Toby and Andrew. In my opinion, like the Toby and Andrew stuff is what worked the best. But
yeah, I
don't know, like I would still like to see some of like the script, like the rough draft and script of like all the other people who they had in mind, because like what, like at the end of that battle, what if instead of like having like Toby and Andrew, if they didn't sign it fucking contract or whatever, they would have had Matt Murdock instead of helping him at the end of the final battle and shit. So like that's one of those things that. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I found this out like a couple of days ago, but they said if Multiverse of Madness came out before Spider-Man, American Chavez would have been the ones to
Oh, see,
bring out because that's the reason why Ned got magic, which kind of seemed a little forced because
right?
he's never
Because
known magic at all. They just kind of did it because they didn't really know how to really explain it. And America Chavez
because
is the only one
she
who
was
could go
he was the
through
one. Yeah,
dimensions.
she was the one who
Right.
was gonna be the one fucking teleporting people in from like weird fucking portals and shit. So
Yeah.
okay, I get that.
So that's
Okay.
that's the reason why that seemed a little forced. Which, if I'm glad it's happening the way that it is because like now they're doing reshoots and they're bringing in like all these different people like allegedly, but American Chavez is like the one who's pretty much like the bridge between different multiverses and stuff like that.
Right,
Right.
because her whole power is opening alternate like dimensions to alternate places. Which I guess since we're already here, we could just talk about the Doctor Strange stuff. So a couple, trailers have come out, and then there's just rumors and things that you're hearing in terms of who's gonna appear. Allegedly, Toby might appear here. Apparently, he's gonna have some sort of voiceover. That's what they're saying. I don't know if he's actually gonna appear or not, but then we also have the fact that we might have Patrick Stewart coming back. And then also apparently Ian, the guy who plays McKellen, the guy who plays Magneto, he's supposed to come back. Like there's a lot
Why the
of
hell I
shit,
just
really.
bringing random
Jackman?
people in this shit?
Hugh Jackman even
Yeah.
because
Why?
because apparently they're gonna do like some version of, well, Izzy, it's a multiverse movie, so like I imagine like they're just gonna end up in the Fox universe or something like that. And that also
Yeah.
apparently too is supposed to be a backdoor way for them to introduce Deadpool as well, because that would be so
Yeah.
fucking meta. Because just think about it, Deadpool, like, why the fuck would I go back to that universe? Nigga, I'll just go with you. I want to go to your universe, man. You know what I'm saying? And then he just makes fun of the Fox universe stuff.
That would be hilarious as shit. That
Yeah.
seemed like something Deadpool would probably say.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
like, fuck that universe. Like, I want
He's
to come
like,
with you guys.
like
Universe
he's probably
sucks.
gonna talk about, yeah, this universe looks fun. And besides, like that would be something that he would do because you got to keep in mind, at the end of Deadpool's movie, he already lost his wife, so he really doesn't have really any end over there.
Well, he went back in time, right?
He went back in time to get her though, so I imagine like he would have bring her with him. I imagine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Doctor Strange, I think, is going to be crazy for sure. And then we have the stuff like, we don't have much context, but it seems like Strange Supreme or a version of him is appearing. I don't know. And then also too, there's this weird thing, right? So for a long time, the main villain of the movie was allegedly Shuma Gorath, right? But apparently there's some sort of rights issue with that name, so they changed Shuma Gorath's name to Gargantos. Apparently, I don't really know
How
why.
would they not have the rights? Is that like a universal thing?
I don't know,
How
man.
the fuck would they not have the rights?
I don't know.
Unless Shuma Gorath is an X-Men villain, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's what I was reading. I like because people were confused. Like even like Rob, because he had done a couple videos on like what that character that Doctor Strange was fighting, and it looks like Shuma Gorath. So like we were just like everyone was like, well, why is it called Gargantos? That's like a fucking one-off octopus monster in the comics or some shit. And apparently, from what I read, they're saying that there's some sort of issue with the Shuma Gorath name. So the reason they didn't want to deal with it, so they just renamed him, which is like, I feel like you should have just tried to figure that out and just use the name, man. Like that's kind of weird, but
yeah,
that's on me. And then also we have the stuff with Scarlet Witch, and we were just talking about America Chavez. Her debut is going to be here, where her whole power is opening portals to different different universes and things of that nature. And also, what's his name? Mr. Loki himself. They asked him if he was going to be
TVA. You saw the TVA portal show up right behind Wanda, so.
Yeah. So I mean, he's trying to deny that he's gonna be in here. I doubt.
It's always funny.
I feel Loki's gonna show up. Loki's gonna show up in the air at some point, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like the multiverse is just and then there's the stuff with Kang too. I don't think Kang is obviously gonna have a big role, but I feel like
he's gonna be an end credit credit something. He's like, well, since everybody's fucking up the multiverse, I guess it's time for me to show up and fuck it up even more.
I mean, I've heard this movie is supposed to be like a slight glimpse of what Secret Wars is supposed to look like because all these people showing up. I mean, Beam didn't Beam didn't mention like Ghost Rider and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
Nicolas
there's
Cage's
Ghost
Ghost Rider is
Rider.
supposed to show up.
Yeah.
Like the old Fantastic Four, which I gotta say, I rewatched it again, and I still prefer that Fantastic Four. It's
Over the
still
Michael B. Jordan one.
yeah. I mean, I don't know why and how, but it's like that movie almost. It just kind of seems like it can exist in the same universe as the first Avengers movie.
It could.
It like the technology and stuff just looks very believable for its time.
Right.
But all these people are supposed to show up, and that's gonna be crazy. Like this whole Spider-Man thing was like a dream come true. Like when you watch, bro, seeing 3 Spider-Man in the exact same screen is like mind blowing. And I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like if these people reprise their roles. Like, cause shit, Hugh Jackman said, "I'm not gonna do Wolverine unless it's like an Avengers thing, or I'm just not gonna do it at all." He shows up, and imagine they're like, "Hey, let's put him in his yellow and blue, bruh."
You're
you
just
know
gonna
when they
lose your
bring-
mind.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you know when they bring characters back, they always like to modernize it. Because I mean, what was the last time we saw like? Shoot, they actually never did it. I was gonna say, what was the last time they had a comic accurate X-Men?
Nah, they never did. I mean, the closest we got is well, if we're talking
First
for
Class.
Wolverine himself, that one too. But if we're talking for Wolverine himself, he never wore it. But at the end of that one, what was it? Wolverine
Oh,
when he
yeah,
was in
Wolverine.
Japan. Yeah, when he was in Japan, and that one chick gave him the costume, and he was just like, "What the fuck is this?" I mean, I don't think he ever wore it though.
No.
Oh
Like,
man,
that was back then when they like that's why like I also like we were talking about like I like that the Fantastic Four, like the old Fantastic Four movies, because they really embraced like a lot of comic booky stuff that wasn't really popular with movie goers at the time. And they always looked like they was having fun, even though like Chris Hemsworth, is it Chris Hemsworth? What's his freaking
Chris
Captain
Evans?
America guy? Chris Evans,
Chris
yeah.
Chris Evans.
He really he played Johnny like a great douchebag in that
Yeah, no, Chris Evans
In
can
that
play a
movie,
dick
but
if he
yeah.
wanted to. Like, he's very
Yeah,
good
no,
at
he,
that.
yeah, he really is. I mean, shit, just take a look at fucking Knives Out. For instance.
Yeah.
He was a fucking asshole, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's just so funny to bring that up because like you go back and watch some of the movies like where back when I just wasn't really paying attention to actors, and I remember recently, like sometime last year, I went back and watched Scott Pilgrim, and I was like, wait a minute, this fucking Chris Evans right there. He's playing a douchebag. What the fuck? This thing has a skateboard. He's like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
That's when our actors were young, man.
Even I mean, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but even in Don't Look Up, when he cameoed in there, I was like, oh, there you go, classic Chris Evans.
Classic Evans right there.
Yeah.
That movie was good, bro. I really like that movie.
Yeah, we
Don't
gotta
Look
talk.
Up.
We gotta talk about it once we
Beam,
once we
you-
get done
you
with the
seen that
Marvel
movie?
stuff.
Don't look up. I don't think I have no.
Oh, my
Oh
God.
man,
Yeah,
that
Listen
movie.
up, bro.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it sometime. Maybe we're gonna. I guess we didn't really announce it, but we're gonna do a 2-parter episode. So like the standard time, just do a 2-parter. We're talking about the movies and stuff like that. And the other one's gonna be just reflecting on 2021 and just stuff like that. A more life-styled podcast. But yeah. MCU has just been knocking out of the ballpark with the movies. The Hawkeye finale, man, I don't know.
That was
I didn't
wasn't
I didn't like the finale.
It
I didn't
wasn't
like the finale
terrible.
either.
It wasn't the worst out of the ones we've seen, but it just didn't have the impact. I do appreciate the fact that they're also pushing yet again. Not only is Matt Murdock here, but Kingpin is here, and then they also slightly tuned because we've heard reports, right, that Daredevil is apparently going to be stronger than he was even in the Netflix shit. Which
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So here you see Kingpin. Yeah, this nigga's durable as fuck. This nigga got shot with an arrow. He just said, "What the fuck, nigga? Get that shit away from me." I said, "Oh
Yeah.
shit."
Which is also one of the reasons like that entire fight was like Kate winning that fight was just not
The
really
only-
believable at
The
all.
only reason
It
she
was kind
won,
of stupid.
yeah, the only reason she won because, dude, she was getting tossed around like a fucking rag doll. Honestly,
Yeah, no, she really was.
The only reason she won that fight
Was it Coughlins?
was the trick arrows. That's literally it. If she didn't have those, she would have just died.
Yeah,
That's-
because
I mean,
he was beating the crap out of her.
Not
like
really.
that.
He just wanted her mom. Like he could have killed her, but the
He
fact
could
that
have.
she was so insignificant to him, he just kept throwing her around, hoping that she just get
Yeah,
knocked
she would
out.
just pass out and
Yeah.
get the hell out of his way. But like,
Yeah.
I guess like that's also another like progression for her part because like all that beating that she took within like the previous episodes before, I guess we would say it worked up her durability in a
Yeah,
sense.
and her ingenuity and just like her quick-wittedness, because Takai has been kind of mentoring her this entire time. So the only
Right.
reason she was even able to, I don't even consider that a win, to be real with you. You just knocked this nigga out, really. I
Right,
mean,
and
if you didn't have those arrows, yeah, you would have just lost. There's nothing you could have done.
Bro, he
And
tore the
he still
door
would
off of a limousine. He didn't
Which
do that.
that
He
was
didn't
the-
do that the last time. Like, and
That
I-
whole scene was funny because
It-
Kate's
it-
mom
it was cr- it
she
was
said,
crazy.
"Oh God!" I said,
yeah, she
Man,
man,
bro, he
Man,
ripped that
Kate's
door
fucking
off the
up.
damn car like he's the Hulk or some shit. I'm like,
yeah.
damn, bro.
No, this dude is
Bro.
full of muscle. Like he's literally getting compared to like having like made part whale or something because just how durable he is. And like the one thing I really wish that people would stop doing is just like nitpicking. Like people were complaining like, "Oh man, this isn't Kingpin right here. He's wearing a different outfit." Like, okay,
Bro,
he
that's
can't-
his
he can't-
original. That's his original Kingpin outfit right there, bro.
No, I
It
mean like
really
he
is.
had like this outfit where like it had like the Hawaiian shirt over like the
Right.
overcoat and stuff like that. Like that was a takeaway
OG
from the comics. Yeah.
right.
And people are like, man, this isn't the Kingpin. Like he's getting beat up by Kate Bishop. I don't know. There's kind of
Nigga,
a lot of there's
Nigga,
a
he
lot
was
of
not getting beat up.
no, he wasn't. He
Like,
wasn't
get
getting
the
beat up. There's a
Nigga,
lot of
she-
people who's like has this vendetta towards like female heroes. Like I'm not gonna give names or anything like that, but like there's a lot of them who would just complain and like they just don't really like females. They don't like female heroes. They don't like superheroes that are like female led. And
Yeah, I don't understand that whole thing, man. It's like I would agree with you if it was like some bullshit way. Like let's just say, for instance, if during this fight, let's say she didn't have trick arrows and she just beat him up normally, like with just punches and shit. That I'd say would be like, okay, like that's garbage.
I mean, if she
But
had the
you
ability
literally
to do it, but it's like
You
even
literally
then-
saw the entire fight, dude. She was getting fucking thrashed. Like there was literally nothing she could do. She tried to hit this nigga, shoot him with the arrow. It did nothing. The only
Yeah.
reason she even slightly beat him is because of those trick arrows. If she didn't have that, she would have lost. It's just that simple. It was
Yeah.
sure it was a convenience, but that was the only way she was winning that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand the whole nitpicking thing with that. It's dumb.
like I said, I just think that people just don't like girls for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why there's some guys out here that just don't like women. It's kind of
Yeah, it's
it's
kind
kind
of
of weird.
It's
But
kinda
I mean,
sucks.
if you ask me, like it would have been bullshit if she would have picked the Kingpin up and slammed him on his back. That would have been bullshit. But no, like I think it was fine. I think it was all right. It's just that, for me the finale was a big letdown when you had the whole thing said to be an hour long, and then you wasted 10 minutes, not on a post credit scene that could have showed what's someone else doing. It showed the whole
It's fucking
Yeah,
Captain
dude.
America play.
Dude, that shit was
had
like
me dying laughing. Like,
they fucking
that play was
trolled us.
awful.
That shit,
Yeah.
that's they literally trolled us. They trolled the fuck out of us. Like,
I didn't think
bro,
it trolled us.
I'm
That
saying-
play
no,
was
nigga, that was a
freaking
troll.
hilarious to me, bro.
Had nothing there. Had
Yeah.
nothing there. Would have been fine.
I
was
literally
literally
would have thought.
Watching this to see, okay, maybe they'll show like Yelena's here or
Oh,
something.
that shit was hilarious to me
But
because after I like followed through the entire shit, like while I was forwarding through it, I was just laughing my ass off because I'm just imagining somebody who just sit right through this shit and watch the entire fucking show and realize there's really nothing at the end of this stupid end credit scene, but just this crappy Broadway play with not even like correct accuracy of what happened, because you somehow have Ant-Man in this crap. This man was never even there for the original battle.
Oh no,
that shit was just hilarious.
That's
bro.
because the fact that someone somehow saw Ant-Man back in 2012 when they went back in time. That's.
Oh yeah.
But even then,
that is true.
no, that's the thing about like these MCU shows because of COVID. Like, I hope once COVID is finally done, they don't have that excuse, because like the endings were supposed to be so different to where like Kate Bishop's mom was supposed to be Madame Mask at the end. Everything that we were talking about was like supposed in theory supposed to happen. Yeah, and it didn't happen. Because I would have thought when that play would have happened, it would have been Yelena watching the play, and then, hey, you could have had an Ant-Man cameo. He's like, that's me right there, and she would just be like, fuck, I'm out of here, like something like that.
Yeah, right.
But there was just no payoff, no nothing. There was like no payoff to the ending, and it just left such a bad taste in my mouth. Like, it felt like drinking like lukewarm coffee to me, and like I was gonna be one of those type of people that'd be like, "Oh man, why didn't Spider-Man show up? For what?" Like,
yeah, I don't know why people were saying that. They were like, "Well, he was swinging over the fucking Chris." So, yeah. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Why the fuck would he just swing by like, "Oh hey, Hawkeye, bye," and then just what?
I mean, even if he did, you know how much of an overshadow that would be for the entire Hawkeye
the entire
show?
development Hawkeye made through his entire freaking journey of the week or whatever, because he would have just made that entire conflict that they had moot, because the entire reason that story was told was Hawkeye is the only guy without any kind of superhuman ability on the team. I mean, fucking shooting arrows with pinpoint accuracy is superhuman and shit, but durability wise and endurance wise, he's like as human as fuck. And that is the entire thing that they were rolling with the episode, which is the entire reason like Kate admires him so much as a superhero, because like these guys over here have these high power, have all these high power suits and superpowers and shit, fighting like aliens and gods from outer space, but you just have a guy with a bow and arrow over here doing the same thing that his peers are doing. So yeah, that is a lot of storytelling and story development over there, that if Spider-Man would have showed up in any capacity, that shit would have just been gone down the drain.
Right. Yeah.
Because he could have just solved that entire stupid tracksuit mafia
he really
problem like within a night time.
Yeah. Honestly, if they were gonna do that, I would just say, hey, how you could tease Spider-Man, just show like some webbing, show some guy getting webbed up, and then you could have been like, Kate could have been like, is that Spider-Man? And then Hawkeye could have been like, yeah, I wonder who that is under that mask, and then people would have been like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Why that shit is going on? Like, he would just say, I'm sorry, Hawkeye, I have other things to do right now. I have like my own problems to take care of, and he just fucking like get out of there, because that would be like doing the same time like what's that shit is going on anyway. No Way Home is going on, but
I think people were thinking that he was gonna show up because like he heard the police scanner, but the thing is, I was like, that stuff was happening like, I don't know, it was happening during Hawkeye, but it might not have happened at that exact same time. And Peter Parker's life fucking sucks, man. God damn.
Yeah, he has a shitty ass apartment.
Life is trash.
Yeah, that small smile he had when he first got to his apartment, I was just like, I sense pain in that smile.
That man apartment sucked ass, bro. That's like the shittiest apartment I ever seen.
I'm expecting that one nigga from Spider-Man 2. Like, where's Spider-Man?
Yeah, where's Spider-Man?
Yeah. It'd be funny if he showed up again and he was just like, you remind me of another individual. He's always asking about a door and he never paid for the rent. That'd be funny.
Oh my god.
I like that.
This time around, if that shit happens, that's gonna hit hard, because like this nigga is pretty much alone in the world. He doesn't have Aunt May to like spot him any money at all.
Oh, he might not even go to MIT. He might go to Empire State University.
Right.
We know he's gonna ace his GED. Like,
Of
Right.
course.
they're gonna be
This
like,
nigga
man.
beat Doctor Strange with geometry, nigga. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, he's smart enough to get in there. They're gonna probably be like, man, I don't know how the hell you dropped out or what happened to your life, but you got in, man. Welcome aboard. And it's probably where he's gonna meet Gwen Stacy and stuff like that. And boy, oh
Yeah,
boy,
yeah, that'll be interesting. Especially
yeah.
whatever they plan to do in terms of like villains and stuff. Like, I don't know how soon they plan to do the whole symbiote shit, but I imagine probably not until like Spider-Man 6, I assume. I don't know. Because
Hopefully.
of
Well, I saw someone they're talking about it because this guy released a concept art of Peter Parker with the symbiote suit. That shit, man, if that was actually the suit, that would be the best looking symbiote suit I've ever seen. I'm not sure if you
yeah, I
guys
know what you're
saw it.
talking. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it
That
looked
suit
really
was so good. Like, if that's actually gonna be the case, bruh, I can't wait for it. I hope it's not gonna be Spider-Man 6. I hope that's gonna be something. It's gonna be earlier, but
well, like Spider-Man 5 or something.
I was gonna say Spider-Man 4 because it's right on the cusp of everything happening, and then uh, it would kind of lead into like because there's so much he can do now. It could lead into him having a symbiote suit, him running in with Black Cat, and then he just starts to become more aggressive, and then it leads into that point where he's like remembering who he is, and then that's when he can fight all the other villains and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah, I
that's
wouldn't
just
mind
me. Yeah.
that. I wouldn't, personally. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they do going forward anyway.
Yep. Which I gotta say, I guess transitioning into like the DC stuff real quick, because the Flash is basically the way they worded this, because like people were freaking out, understandably so. They're talking about Flash like just decanonizing Zack Snyder stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Listen,
I don't think that's what they said is gonna happen.
I don't.
Because
listen. I don't. We don't know that for sure. If they did say that and it's like concrete, like, oh no, that's not gonna happen. Cool. But here's the thing. This is WB, and they're really fucking stupid. Just to put that light. Not even put that lightly. Really. I could definitely see in a world where they decide, well, the Snyder Cut Justice League, it did do pretty good, but why don't we do Batgirl and Supergirl? Yeah, why don't we make them the faces, and let's just phase out Henry Cavill. We don't need him. He's doing Witcher anyway. Fuck him. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
You remember they were trying their hardest to like pretty much make everything like the DC extended multiverse or whatever. So I don't think I don't care what whatever they do, they cannot really decanonize like the events of Snyder stuff. All they could do is just introduce a new team and tell you that new team is like a multiversal team and have
do that, but then they're primarily shifting their focus to this, which is like, but you don't want that, man. Like,
right?
But really have like a template right here. Why are you not utilizing it?
But you got to realize, like, I don't care what kind of Justice League team they make in the future. You still got to have some version of Batman and some version of Superman in there.
Right, which is why we have like fucking 50 million Batman and like 50 million Superman now.
So even if they don't have Henry Cavill come back as Superman, you're going to have some version of Batman or some version of Superman in there anyway. So
yeah, and it's Supergirl, and then it's going to be the Leslie version of Batwoman. But that's the thing, though. It's just like, they're essentially saying they're rebooting it because, for one, they have Robert Pattinson's Batman. Like, until they decide, hey, we're going to make him part of the multiverse too, they just want it to be completely separate. So they're not really motivated to actually keep Ben Affleck. And like Beam was right. Like, they had a template, they had a story that was, the dark side thing.
But Ben Affleck already said like he doesn't.
Well, yeah, that's already been established.
Well, yeah, he didn't want to be Batman because the fact that he was having troubles with his own personal life, and then he was dealing with the Joss Whedon like cuts and stuff like that in the reshoots, because everyone was miserable during that time of reshoots and stuff like that. Like, I pretty much killed him in a sense, but I mean, WB really is dumb. Like, when I said like Sony and Marvel kind of came together and said, okay, we're gonna do this for the fans. They actually did that. Like, I don't know why WB is like so against that, to where like you have Henry
Money.
Cavill. I mean, yeah, but it's just like
No,
I
but
don't know.
it seems like they're against making money, if anything, because
Yeah,
the decisions they make is just fucking stupid. Like,
and it bleeds into Matrix too, because
yeah,
that's a whole nother thing. But like, I don't know. You have Henry Cavill saying, "Hey, I would want to be Superman." Like he's not. He's never said like, "I'm done with this role." Not like Ben Affleck. He's openly said it, but they're just like,
multiple times.
nah. We'll pass. We got Supergirl here. Like we're fine. And hey, if they want to do it, then that's fine. But it's just like, man, like I don't know what your agenda is outside of making money. Like you have fans here who want to see a live action version of these characters, and just not doing it. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm hoping it's not true, and hopefully at some point,
I think it's because they
fix
don't
it,
have like
but-
a overlord. Is that what I? No, no.
Overlord.
I don't think an
This thing
overlord is what I
Overlord.
need. They do
You
have
mean
a,
you mean a person like Kevin Foggy's stature? You mean?
yes, that's
Yeah.
what I meant.
They
They,
don't have
they do
that
have
anymore.
okay. They do have an overlord, but they don't have like should I say a planner?
They
Or-
don't have a Kevin Feige. It was originally like Jeff Johns, I think, at some point. But even then, like there was problems with that because when that whole controversy of Jeff Johns and Josh Whedon came out, like it just really made it a mess. They really needed a Kevin Feige. They just didn't have that, and the
And
WB
also, I
execs.
don't really think that they could have a like a Kevin Feige kind of person because like WB doesn't seem like one of that company that likes to give anybody like a
Control.
creative control over a project. They like to tell people what to do instead of having like somebody
like they'll give you
come
a
up with
general
right.
guideline, like you need to follow in these parameters right here, and it's like, why?
And
instead
I mean,
of
like,
having a person with a good creative control on top of that shit. But no, never mind.
I mean, even when they did, like, they didn't have a Kevin Feige per se. Like, the directors would clash with the execs all the time because I remember hearing like this story. I forgot, like Zack Snyder was kind of like he was like flabbergasted because the studio execs were like, "Why don't we have at the end of the movie Superman just return to planet Krypton?" And
The
they're
fuck?
like,
Isn't that shit destroyed?
exactly. and they were like very for it. They're like, yeah, let's have him go back to Krypton. And then like Zack Snyder or someone was just like, are you guys fucking stupid? It blew up. Like, and it just goes to show you how they don't really care about the property. They're just like, oh man, like this is a very cool concept, even if it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Seriously, like corporate overheads, man. Like,
Yeah, they're
sometimes
fucking
like
stupid. They're dumb.
for a bunch of smart people who knows how to make money, they are really fucking stupid sometimes because I don't know how people could be smart at the same time stupid, but it is possible. And that's what happens.
It's just intelligence. It's just a monopoly over multiple franchises that over time owns like different IPs, and now they can just do whatever they want, but not for the sake of creativity, but just
to print out money.
Yeah.
Because that shit right now with the NFTs, man. I don't even want to get into that shit. Let's just
yeah. Well, let's get into Matrix instead, because we all saw Matrix, and man, like,
oh man, that movie was the bomb.
Oh man,
no,
that one kind of hurt a little bit.
That movie was the bomb. Y'all remember when I told y'all that shit was gonna suck ass? But damn, it was the bomb, bro. You hear that enthusiasm in my voice?
Well, I mean, like, I thought it was just gonna be good because, it was Keanu Reeves and stuff like that, and I don't know, it just seemed very exciting to watch. Like,
yeah,
I didn't anticipate the back end of it. Like, the first part of the movie was really good. Like, for me, like I enjoyed it, but it's just towards the end, I was just like, nah, like I don't know what this is.
Yeah, it's just we talked about this off air. Izzy, you weren't there, but me and Gavndo talked about it off air. I think, like, the conclusion we came to. Okay, you got one half of the mastermind behind the original series, but I think you needed both of them, man. because it just because
I don't
it
even think
just
both of them would have saved that movie.
I
That movie
no
was
I would think so because you take a
uh,
look at the track record. I mean, maybe not. Maybe they're so far removed from Matrix they just didn't even know what to do
they,
anymore. Maybe
they're
so.
over here trying to do like a stupid meta shit with the Matrix franchise, and like it is so stupid because like what they were making fun of, why it was happening in the movie, if they would have even gone with that concept, it would have been a better movie than whatever nonsense that they actually made and called it Matrix or Resurrection. Because I would have preferred seeing the events of the machine wars that happened
Exactly. That's what
than
exactly what I'm
having
saying.
than
Yeah.
having fucking
They
Neo
focus
and Trinity and
they
whatever other
put
crap that
too much
happened.
focus on the wrong shit. Like, yeah, in the original series, like Neo and Trinity's love, like that was a facet of the movie, but it wasn't like the fucking zero focus of the entire shit.
Because
Apparently
you know
That
their
was just like,
love
what the
is
fuck?
their love like gave them abilities that just
Yeah,
okay,
like that shit was just like, oh, what the fuck? Like,
you know what's funny though?
what the fuck?
Like the funny thing is, while I was watching this movie, I just thought about it. I'm like, this entire Machine Civil War shit could have spanned another three trilogy movie. Then Resurrection comes after as like the part 4 to that. In essence, that would have worked better in my opinion.
So you're saying they should have showed the entirety of the Machine War and everything
Machine
that
Wars,
happened, everything
yeah,
that happened between now and then Matrix 3 is what you're
right.
saying. Yeah.
but
They
they
should have
technically
showed. They
did
should
do
have made
that
that into
through
its own.
the
No, they should have made that into its own movie. Everything
Yeah,
that
that
happened
was
into the Machine Wars
I mean
into
they,
its
because
own
there was
movie.
just so much like unanswered things, like what happened to Morpheus and all these other things. It's just like they
died.
just glossed over it. Yeah, but it's so
He died
fucking
in a game, and they
He
expected
died.
us to just
that
understand that
it's
he
so
was dead.
fucking like it's so fucking stupid, like just dumb. Like, cause I was like, if you think about all that, like this is a thing that I always think about, and this is it's not only Matrix, but I just don't understand what some of these companies, man, or it just can expand the games as well. But how the fuck is it that fans like you and me or whoever,
Can
some
come
of
up
us,
with a better
can come up
concept.
with a better concept of a movie or game than the fucking people working on it? How does that even make any sense?
I
So it's like
just
we should be the producers, nigga. Like really,
I mean
honest.
No, but that's the
I
thing though.
just
That's called
Go ahead.
headcanon and fan theories and shit. So.
Yeah, true.
but even then though it was very clear that, and it showed in the writing of the film where like it just seemed like Lana didn't want to make the movie.
No, she
They
didn't.
literally
And
they literally
if
said
you
it
look up,
when like Neo and fucking Smith were talking. He was just like, our friends at WB are gonna make it with or without us. That's not coincidence. That's
no,
literally
she
Lana
did that
saying
as
like, hey, they were gonna make the shit whether or not Keanu was there, and they basically forced their hand because of the fact that WB owns that property.
right. And if you look up information regarding this entire production shit repeatedly over the years, because Warner Brothers has been trying to reboot Matrix for a long fucking time.
Well, they
And
did a shitty job.
every time they asked, I think they would ask both sisters, both of them would say, "No, we're done."
Yeah.
And I think because Warner Brothers was like, "Listen, either you're on board or we're about to just make this shit." That's what happened. And now you could just see that
Now
she
they fucked it
doesn't
up.
have you could tell they just didn't have the same passion that they did with the original series. Literally every aspect of the movie was way worse than the original trilogy, like in every aspect.
That's because like every moment they try to remind you of what happened in the fucking original movie.
Seriously though, that was so.
Can I just go back and just watch the original movie if that's what you're gonna keep showing me the entire time? Thank you.
Exactly. Like,
and all like the
Kung Fu,
choreographed martial arts.
Yeah, martial arts.
None of that should happen. Awful shit.
Awful. Yeah. There was literally, bro, one of the facets of Matrix besides the martial arts is gunplay. Neo didn't use a fucking gun once, bro.
It's because he had powers.
Once.
That's why. I really don't know why.
And even he didn't even use his powers properly because all he kept doing was force pushing people. I'm like, what the hell is this crap?
Yeah.
This nigga a Jedi now?
Yeah, I don't like how they portrayed his powers in this one, man. Like it just looked weird, dude. In the first one, it just seems so clean. Like you take for instance, like in the second one, where this nigga puts his hand up, bullets just stop. There's no little weird effect of a shield, clear shield bullshit. No, this nigga puts his hand up, the bullets are just stopped.
Yeah.
Why did they fuck with the effects like that? I don't get it. It
because
just made it
they're trying to modernize it, and the thing is like they treat the franchise like any franchise. They're like, oh, let's make it the same style as any other property, when that's not the case. And that's maybe the reason why, because like one of the biggest things about the Matrix is like this, like the film grading and everything. Like the green hue that Matrix has is so unique that I don't think any other any franchise would have something as cool as that and different. Like, you always have a certain kind of tone to a film where you kind of understand like what the atmosphere is supposed to feel like. And Matrix is known for having that green hue, which kind of symbolizes the digital world that you're kind of trapped in, and they completely ignored it.
And they tried to do something different with the blue hue now, because I guess that's supposed to signify new Matrix. But it just didn't work, man.
No, it didn't work.
And then you had what's his name as the architect?
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick
Harris. Yeah, man, I gotta say that shit was like he was just way too campy, and that's the same thing I could say with like Smith too. Like I know, like
I don't know, man.
Smith was terrible. I'm not saying he
the
was
guy
the
who played
most,
Smith was,
but
was
he just doesn't compare to Hugo Weaving, man.
Now, like
Smith was
the reason he wasn't like I would say he wasn't necessary, and he wasn't necessarily needed in this movie.
No, he wasn't. And
he played the part that he was given. Like
I don't care what nobody says. I do not think Smith would help Neo in any way.
Nope.
I do not buy that at fucking all. Why would you try to pitch to me that, oh well, because we're both prisoners of the Matrix, well, I got to get my punches into, like, nigga, get the fuck out of here. This nigga was responsible for the fucking reset of the Matrix in the first place in the original trilogy. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's so stupid. Like, this movie just didn't need to be made. Like, literally, it just didn't need to be made at all.
It didn't. And like I said, like they could have did so much more with the film. Like, if they had made the person who played as Morpheus and Smith different people, it could have worked. It literally could have worked, because of the fact that now you have people making these comparisons as we're doing now. And that's not fair to the actors, because it's not their fault. I mean, they're trying their best. It's just like, I don't know why they couldn't have gotten Morpheus back, because in a way they pretty much treated him as like a program now, to where, like, I guess he coded his DNA. I don't know. It makes it makes it twice as confusing when you try to explain it, but it's just, again, they should not have made this movie at all. Like, if so, like, they should have gave like Lana more control, or just let her not make the movie at all. Like, I'm completely satisfied with, Matrix not having a continuation, because Keanu Reeves is doing stuff with John Wick. He has other stuff he's going to do, and part of my confusion was the fact that I kept mixing up the film with, like, as if I was watching a John Wick movie.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what I was saying.
That motorcycle scene?
I feel like the way you distinguish that, he had a specific look in the Matrix. I really feel like he should have cut his hair short, like how he did it. Like, my idea was cut his hair the way it was back then, but let him have the beard or whatever, just to show that he aged. That's fine. But the way he looked like as if it was John Wick in here. That's what it looked like.
And it sucked because, like, that chick, Jessica Hansworth, she should have been the chick who played Shang-Chi's sister. But she passed that shit up for the Matrix.
Oh yeah, dude, I remember you telling me that. Yeah, and I mean, she was great in the movie for whatever part that, like, the part she was given. Because yeah, I really feel like she missed her opportunity.
She missed her opportunity
to took the Shang-Chi role. That would have put her a lot better on the map.
But I
because
guess like she had a bad experience with the Iron Fist nonsense, so she didn't want to deal with Marvel shit. Like,
well, I mean,
probably
she should have known. There's a difference. There's a difference between Marvel
movie
Netflix
and Netflix, but
Marvel's
oh
MCU.
well,
I mean, they're probably gonna bring her. They'll probably bring her on board because I mean,
or something else.
well, no, for the MCU stuff, they might bring her back. I mean, there's nothing to say. I mean,
shit,
as Iron Fist?
she was the best part of the Iron Fist.
Iron
team,
Fist,
bro.
yeah.
yeah.
Plus, her martial arts skills were on point, man. So
And that
yeah,
was,
so,
dude,
yeah.
literally, like, I just always think about the Iron Fist show, like how shit it was. Like, I remember the second season was an improvement for the first one, not in the terms of like the actual lead actor, because that nigga sucks. But, like, in terms of like her character, when she got the Iron Fist power, and she was like infusing that shit with her sword. I was like, oh, that's fucking sick. More of this, please, because that's cool. She's actually a good character, dude. I will never forget
She
how
actually knows martial arts, so
that too. I will never
That actually
forget how
works.
stupid it was on when I'm looking through my fucking eyes at the screen of this nigga Danny, who supposedly lost his Iron Fist powers and is now using
This
two
nigga's
Glocks
he's a
that have
gunslinger.
Iron
Like he
Fist
came from the
energy.
Wild
And
West.
this nigga's deflecting bullets with Iron Fist bullets. I was like, all right, man, this is so fucking stupid. Like, this is
Yeah,
what
I'm really
is
glad I
this,
didn't
man?
watch that. Like, that's
So
not
garbage.
good at all.
This
Like,
nigga's
garbage
came from
as
the Wild
fuck,
West.
Like,
oh,
literally,
wow.
no, I'm not joking. They literally spent the entire last episode explaining, well, yeah, Colleen, like, I'm not worthy of Iron Fist, so I'm going to give my powers to you. He gives his powers to her. She uses it for fighting, evil and shit like that. Cool. Her character is good. And then you undo that by hitting this nigga.
Yeah, this man going to find another Iron Fist power and somehow
Man,
looking like he just
going?
became a Tomb Raider or some shit.
And it's like, what the
He just came out of Uncharted movie.
Like, I was just like, all right, I just turned that shit off. I was like, okay, like this is just...
Oh man, that shit was
Very
hilarious.
bad. That's very, very bad. I'm really glad I didn't watch that. But yeah, going back to
Iron Fist.
That was the post-credit scene, by the way.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it
God.
was.
That's awful.
Gotta set up the next season.
That's
See,
terrible.
that show is called Iron Fist. Where do you get a double Glock from? Was it a double Glock or a double revolver? I
No,
don't remember.
it was double Glocks because
Holy shit, man, that show was hilarious. And it's not like he had a prior history of knowing how to use guns either. So, like, what? Why? Like,
They
what?
gave up, I guess. They had
they
had to
literally
have given up.
they did.
I don't know, but I was gonna say going like just quickly going back to like the Matrix. And if they do make another sequel, which I mean, Lana said that it's unlikely. I don't know, unless WB is just pointing a gun at her head and it's just like fucking do it. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Because I feel like Bugs might be like a. I was under the impression because I was falling off of like the colors, like the color themes and stuff like that. Because clearly you can kind of tell off rip Neil Patrick Harris is gonna be bad because his glasses were blue, and like just his whole thing was just about kind of control and like submission in a way. And like I'm looking at Bugs' hair and I'm like, man, she's kind of like her hair is like purplish blue, but like in certain parts, I was like wondering, I was like, is she gonna be like a traitor? Cause she,
I don't think so. She's basically like New Morpheus. Like I feel like. So
Yeah.
That's what she is. I was feeling more like she was along the line of how do you say this? I would say like she was along the line of like the new Neo, if Neo fucking never reawakened or whatever. But
well, the other thing is,
I mean,
like, her hair
without
is
the
purple.
superpower, so
Right. I was thinking, I was under the impression too. It's like if she's not a traitor, I would think she would, I guess separate herself from like Niobe's like group, because Niobe fucking sucks. As like
Yeah, dude.
from that
I don't
movie.
know why they even did with that, man. Like, she was literally the most uninteresting character in the other fucking trilogy.
How would you
How the
bring back
fuck did she
the original
survive?
character and make her so unrecognizable?
Yeah, that
Like,
too. The makeup
what?
was so terrible.
That was
too. It
awful.
was
Who made
garbage.
who was the
Garbage.
person who let that shit pass as like
Probably WB, but it's like I don't know. It's just I feel like just going off of color schemes, like Bugs probably is like the bridge between both, where she's like, yeah, actually, I understand the machine's problem because I have machine friends, and like I also believe in like free will and stuff like that, but I can understand it because Niobe she didn't care about Neo. Like
No, she
outwardly said it.
really
She's
did.
like, I didn't believe in the one. Just gonna let you know right now.
which is a fucking contradiction, and because
it really was
they-
because
they
she
already
was basically doing what Bugs was doing in the original Matrix,
exactly, bro.
which is
They
disobeying
literally
every fucking
tread
order there
over the
is.
story in the original trilogy. Like, in the beginning, she was like, "Yeah, I don't really believe in Neo," and then by the end, she was like, "Okay, Neo, like, I believe in you. Could take my ship." It's like, what the fuck? Like, where did this change come from? They literally made her like the Commander Locke character, basically. Like,
Yeah.
out
And
of
she was even worse than the Commander Locke because at least Commander Locke, like the actor actually played that role pretty well. Her role was just not believable at all.
No,
it was
it
just
really wasn't.
stupidly just there.
I think it was just the example of character assassination, and that's the thing. Like when I compare like No Way Home to Matrix, like this is a perfect example of like of what good fan service looks like in the takes of Spider-Man, and then what bad
Terrible-
fan service
terrible
fan
looks
service.
like.
No,
because
seriously.
like when you take
Seriously.
a character who already is known for something, or they have a certain like agenda from previous films, and then you contradict that in the next one, like why would you do that? Like I don't like the idea. Like I didn't buy it at all that Niobe was just. She said, "Yeah, we found peace, so we're not gonna get into any new conflict." Like what? Like
Okay, and what happens when the conflict comes to you?
I
because
know.
of your act? Like,
I was like, and if because they already said, hey,
The
they
machines
just-
are gonna come for you.
yeah, they already said the machines just don't believe in peace. They didn't. They didn't follow with Neo's like sort of treaty towards the end of of Matrix Revolutions when he died, and you're just gonna be like, well, I just need to keep my people safe by just ignoring all the other issues, pretty much falling into their own Matrix in a way. Like, no, I hate that. I hate when they do characters like that, man.
yeah, it's fucking dumb. They literally no reason. But again, this is why it just goes back to the point of this movie just shouldn't have been made. But here we are.
Yep.
Here we are.
Not even gonna see it in theaters.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you.
HBO
I'm glad I
gold
did.
shit
I'm
out
glad
there,
I
right?
didn't. I didn't either, bro. I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna cancel my movie and just watch this shit at home, dude.
I was just did.
And
That
I'm
would have been
so-
a waste of
yeah.
money.
Yeah,
I mean-
I'm glad I didn't. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Very,
stupid.
very, very bad. Damn. Man.
Well, since we're still like on like movies and stuff, Izzy, you watched Witcher season 2, right? I don't know. I doubt D, you haven't probably, huh?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, we could quickly talk about it just since we're in like the entertainment aspect. Izzy, what did you think of Witcher season 2?
I still have the same complaint that I have for the first fucking season. Every time they transition to a new location, we do not know these fucking places' name from the book. Please just put it at the bottom of the screen. This location is like Vangerberg,
Yeah.
whatever location you try or the destination is. Just fucking list it over here. Like even movies does this shit for like regular places in the world. Like if a movie is like a international spy movie, if they go to London, they should say London in the corner of the damn fucking screen. So if you're gonna be in a fantasy world where people are jumping from one location to the other, why the hell aren't you just putting the name of the locations in the corner of the damn fucking screen, just to let people know? I really had a complaint with that. Like it was one of my biggest gripe from the first season, and they moved it to the second season, and they did the same shit. I mean, in the end, I didn't really care anyway because I still don't remember half of the names of the places in the fucking Witcher game anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
me either.
besides
But
like places
yeah, I
like
understand. It would.
Novgorod and like Centra and whatnot. I don't really remember half the
Yeah,
places
it
anyway.
would. It would give you further context as to like where things are happening though, like
Right.
and like where they're going and like how it affects like their traveling and
Because a
shit.
lot of stuff is happening and a lot of people are teleporting from one location to the other, especially like the
Mages and the
the
witch.
mages. Yeah. So it would have helped if we knew where these ships was taking places, but I still I liked it better than the first season though, because
Yeah,
like
I felt like they did a lot better job in terms of like set design and then like just overall design.
the North Guardians fucking armor, they finally fixed that nonsense fucking armor from season 1.
Yeah,
Thank you.
they look way better, way fucking better now.
Probably because Henry Cavill was yelling at him. They need accuracy.
Yeah, I would think so. I think he has a good bit of control in terms of, because of his insight, because he's a Witcher fan, so he can give them guidance on what they should be doing, which is good that they have a fan there. But yeah, I agree, Izzy. I think this season was a lot better than the first one. The first one wasn't horrible, of course, but it just felt like
the first one was decent, but
it just felt like they were really in their bag more so in here.
Right, because this story, it felt more controlled, because the first one, it felt all over the place. Yeah, I don't know how the hell they made it work, even though they made it work, which is another thing with good editing. Even if shit is all over the place, good editing still makes stuff work, which is what the first season had, right? Like the editing made it work, but it was just all over the place for the first season. But the second season, it felt more controlled, and people stayed in one location longer than in the first season, where like
it was kind of like jumping around, and you didn't really, especially with the time, like that was the one thing I'm glad they didn't do that this season, was like with the time period shit.
Time period where like shit were happening in different time period without you even see. That was one of the reasons why season 1 pissed me off so bad. Not only were they doing like shit in different timelines and shit, they wouldn't even tell you the locate. They weren't telling you what time whether this was the past, present, or future, or what? No, not the future, obviously, but whether it's the past or the present. They wouldn't tell you that, and then over that, they wouldn't even tell you what location this shit was happening in. So it was just like, way too many.
Just like, you just didn't understand anything that was happening. Right. Like it was just kind of like, okay.
So with this season, I appreciate like everybody now is on pretty much like the same timeline. Besides when you see people having flashbacks, you will probably know it's a flashback, but
exactly,
they didn't really have a lot of flashback this time around anyway.
No, they didn't. They really didn't. And I do like although like I was actually talking to someone at my new job about it, actually, because we were discussing Witcher, and there were a couple of characters that I was just like, what the fuck? Like, bro, I don't know. I'm a Witcher fan, but I've only really played Witcher 3. So I'm basing like how characters acted in there. And bro, I don't know what the fuck they were doing with the Lambert character. Like that nigga's annoying as shit. Like honestly, like I mean, he was annoying in the game, but they made him more obnoxious in this fucking show. Like it's just like, and then they made him like a ginger for no reason, which is fucking weird. But I mean, it was whatever. I do like the guy that got.
You do know like the book creator absolutely like hate the Witcher games, right?
Yeah, I know. So, there's like a long-standing like.
So even though the Witcher game is what kind of made it like the game, like I mean, made a franchise like internationally popular, he really don't fucking like the Witcher game. So like if he see like a lot of stuff that is like coming out of the Witcher game, it's kind of like pisses him off. So they're not gonna like base almost all their characters around like the
game. Yeah, which I get.
So
I am happy though that they like relented, because I remember when they did the first season, they were just like, yeah, well, we're not gonna cover the games at all. It's like, are you stupid? Like, why would you not do that? Like, I understand the books are like the source material, but the games are literally what put Witcher on the map. You need to cover shit from that. Like, I'm sorry, you have to. Which we see in this, like, it seems like they are going to, because they even showed the Wild Hunt. So
they did.
Yeah, it seems we're gonna be heading in that direction.
Dude, like they basically said they're gonna try to if Netflix and help it, they want to do all 7 books. So if they're gonna do all 7 books, that's like 7 seasons of that shit. So yeah. So the and like the productions with Netflix shows, that shit gets like expensive as shit goes on. So yeah, I hope they can actually get there, but like they already introduced a Wild Hunt, so it's gonna be one of the like Thanos kind of shit, background villain who's just always lurking in the background, and they just visit them once in a while because they had to establish the Wild Hunt, but somehow get them off the board completely. Because if they don't do that, then you're always gonna be wondering like shit, like event in the Witcher universe cannot really progress the way it should progress because the Wild Hunts are just basically those overpowered characters that are really difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Until like Ciri finally gets into
her full potential, and she can control her magic and shit like that. Which they might have to have a time jump anyway to like age her up to.
They're not gonna have to do that. Like,
you don't think so?
The chick who's playing Ciri, she's aging.
That is true. She's like already in her 20s. So yeah, maybe by the time they even get there, like she'll be like older. So it won't even really matter. Yeah.
Because like you remember like initially she wasn't even the one who they considered to play Ciri at all. They wanted a younger actor to play Ciri. But you know how like kids actors is kind of like they have like set schedule and bedtimes and shit like that. So that did it. And since like some of the scenes that is film is like night times and stuff like that, it just wasn't working out. So they had to like have a little bit of age Ciri up a little bit, and I think that was a good decision because now.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't really have to. Yeah, you don't really have to follow like exactly what happened. I mean, as long as it makes sense.
Because they did it with Game of Thrones too. Because some of like the Game of Thrones character in real life, like they age, and in the book they were supposed to be still younger, but because like with the aging of the with the like IRL characters, I mean that in because they age like super like in real life, so like they had to age that in that Game of Thrones characters to match up with that real life characters too. So like with this chick, she's already in her 20s. So like by the time like it's like 3 or 4 years or 4 years later, she's probably gonna be like 23 or something. That was probably gonna be like when they're gonna start filming like the next season of The Witcher. So by then, I don't know. By the time they get to the Wild Hunt part, she's gonna be like fully looking like a full Ciri.
Yeah, she'll probably be in her like late 20s, if anything.
Right.
Doesn't the production for Witcher always go by like a year or a year and a half?
Yeah.
It does, but like right now with all the other shit going on, like you gotta remember, like Henry Cavill, he got his other schedules and other shit going on too, you know.
Yeah, so, which would make sense why production is spread out so far. So if they're trying to age someone up, like they could definitely wait. I mean, I don't have anything for an example, but I mean, back when they thought that Kill Bill Volume 3 was gonna come out, they were like, hey, we need to have one of these characters age up. Because I don't know, there's something with the there was something with the character, with one of these characters who was supposed to like be like a very badass samurai, but I don't know what happened with that, but they should definitely do that though. They just have the production like extended out. I mean, actually no, Stranger Things, because Stranger Things is supposed to come out like that stuff like last season, like 2018, I think. Oh fuck yeah, like 2018, and the new seasons come out in 2022 for this year. And, like, these kids are, like, a lot older now because it's supposed to take place during, like, the 90s. So, it makes perfect sense to do that.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the Stranger Things cast, they've aged. They've aged, like, a lot now. Like, they're all in their early 20s now. So.
Which is crazy.
Very crazy.
So.
Damn.
Yeah. I guess you could talk about
Yeah,
the book
that's
of Boba Fett then. I mean, if you guys are done talking
yeah,
about
I
that.
yeah,
didn't see
yeah.
that.
You didn't see?
So,
Did any of you guys watch it?
oh yeah, I watched it. I honestly, I thought I was kind of tired of Star Wars
I'm
stuff.
I'm not big on the Star Wars things anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was kind of done with it. I don't know. I was just kind of going in and out of the motion with it. But I mean, I just like the fact that we're only focusing on Boba Fett and basically like his whole story of like what happened from episode 6 to now. And
No. Yeah.
I gotta say that
I think
Wookiee,
it's
that one Wookiee that showed up, Krestan or something, bro. When he showed up on the screen, I was like, yeah, that ain't a fucking Wookiee you want to mess with right there, cause like
yeah.
this guy. No, Izzy,
Is
you
he
gotta
not
see
like,
this
bro?
character. This
His
fucking
face
Wookiee
is
had
like
dreads.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. He was like basically like threatening this nigga with growls. He's like,
Yeah. No.
I mean, you gotta realize Wookiees are like naturally, like even though they are peaceful to some races, they are aggressive as shit, bro.
Yeah,
So-
but not like that.
No,
No,
that
not like
nigga
that.
was overly
This guy
aggressive,
had
bro.
like dreads. He had like battle armor and shit, bruh. He looked like a super Wookiee. Like when I saw
Yeah,
him,
no,
because
for real though.
the
And not only
Hutts-
that, this nigga wasn't even brown. He was black.
yeah,
bro.
no, this guy was black and white. He like, bruh, he looked experienced, and when he showed up, because the Hutts called him, because essentially, like spoiler alert, like Boba Fett is pretty much a Hutt now, and he's the Hutt. He's a Hutt, but it's essentially like a daimyo. Like I really like the idea how like Star Wars kind of takes aspects of Japanese like feudal culture and stuff like that,
Yeah.
as far as like
Yeah.
caste systems. But the Hutts came by, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm the daimyo now." They're like, "Oh, is that so?" They're like, "Come out here." And the fucking Wookiee showed up. I was like, God damn. I'm like,
Yeah, bro. And when they were leaving, the look this nigga gave while he was growling, I was like, Jesus
Bro,
Christ, this
I
was
swear to-
savage.
I
shit.
swear to God, if that thing knew English, I'm pretty sure he'd be like, I got my eye on you, fuck nigga. Like, like,
yeah. I definitely enjoyed this episode more so than the first one. I felt like the first one was a little bit slow, but here, it was just cool to see like they gave characterization to the Tusken Raiders and they made sure to tell you too, Tusken Raiders, not all of them are the same. Like there's different tribes, so like some of them are a lot more savage. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming that's a reference to like things like that happened like with Anakin back then, right? When they killed his mom, that was probably a different tribe that, probably just are savages and just killed whatever. But
I mean,
Here,
that and the, like just the machines. Not to cut you off, just like people would come over there and steal their resources, and that's also what
Yeah.
added on to their savagery.
right. So it was cool to see like how Boba Fett, he got out of the Sarlacc pit, and then he's kind of learning their culture and becoming one of them, and learning their ways, and then we get to see like where he got his like not really armor but his clothes and his weapons that he had when he meets Mando for the first time, right? So it was cool. And then we get more characterization for Fennec Shan in this too, and she's kind of his right hand in terms of like helping him keep things in order. So it is cool. It's like a little additive for his character, like more depth for him, and he's different from Mando because Mando's very well. I mean, it might change a little bit now because he's seems to be taking his helmet off more because of like him understanding, like him having his interactions with Bo-Katan, and then even Boba Fett. But it's just cool to see a different aspect of it, like the underworld part of it. So we might get to see shit. Like maybe the final episode is gonna be like some episodes of people talk about like Boba, and then like him and some of the Tusken Raiders buddies fucking just going against the Hutts, man. Because
That'd be crazy.
That'd be fucking crazy for sure.
I like how one of the Huts or one of the Jawas is like wiping a sweat off his body with a
Yeah,
rat.
with the fucking rat.
Yeah,
This thing-
like,
What
he
the
was just like, oh, I'm sweating. I think he was just like, I don't know, maybe he was seasoning him up just so he could just eat him later. But he was just like, oh, I'm
That's why I
sweating.
said
man. Like,
maybe
this
he
is-
was seasoning him up.
Yeah, no, because of the fact that like this Hut was this Jabba character was basically like sweating, so he took a rat from a basket and started wiping himself off. And my only thing that I could think about is that he's just like seasoning him up with his own sweat, so he could save him, marinate him, and eat him for later.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
the Huts.
disgusting.
Well, I mean, the Huts are pretty gross. Like literally, they look
mean,
pretty
they're
disgusting.
They are
So.
like a bunch of Slav for us.
Yeah, they're slobs, and they're also what's like they're very high class like slobs is what I'm trying to say. Like they're
Like,
I
yeah.
can't be bothered to walk. Like I need niggas to fucking
They're pretty much
bring
like
me
the
up. Like
hedonistic box from.
yeah, exactly.
They're kind of
Yeah.
like shoguns in a way, or not shoguns, but like the people. Actually, yeah,
The
like
Romans.
yeah, in a way where
Roman
it's like
emperors.
they have like a level of power to where like you need permission to kill them, because like even like Bubba, he was just like, yeah, I gotta talk to someone higher above him to get permission to kill him, because there's a power there's a power thing
Power
with it,
dynamic.
where
Yeah.
if they lose that, then it pretty much messes either up the whole economy or just the way things are ran. So
Yeah, but maybe that's what Bubba's mission is going to be anyway. Is like trying to abolish that caste system that's there, and then just to make Tatooine like free for like everyone. So there's
yeah.
not so much like bullshit that happens. Because that shit was funny when he went to the cantina place. Because he was just like, okay, so I came here at the mayor's discretion. And why the fuck are you sweating so much, lady? And she was just like, yeah, it's because the twins are back. And she was just like, oh shit, okay. So yeah, there's all that stuff. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying it, man. And I'm interested. I'm wondering if Mando's gonna show up at all. I wonder.
Might a brief cameo probably. I mean,
Yeah, maybe in passing, we'll see him or something. And he's like, "Hey, you need some help, my boy?" Be like, "Hey, can you help me kill these guys?" Bet. I'm not doing
he
shit.
might call for help for that Wookiee, because I'm pretty sure that's not gonna be a one-man fight.
No, it's not.
They're gonna have
No,
to jump
it
that guy.
is
Like
not.
there is no
Yeah,
one-on-one.
Nah, that guy looks like I don't think
I'm
that's-
looking at the image of that Wookiee. You guys are right. I would not
Dude,
want to go and be in an elevator with this
dude,
guy.
you need
I
to
look
see
like
the
he
actual
can
scene.
eat
Look
somebody.
up the scene because that nigga's intimidating as shit. Even fucking Boba Fett was like, "What the fuck?" He's just looking at me. He's like, oh, shit.
I mean, even
Oh.
I mean, he wasn't like he wasn't like completely like shaken, but he was
No,
just
no,
like,
he wasn't
man,
shaking.
I'm not gonna start a fight here. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, the guy just looks so fucking threatening. He does not look like he's like related to Chewbacca at all. He looks like he might like decapitate Chewbacca and like use his like body as like a coat for himself. You know, he doesn't even need it. Like,
It's a-
That's what it looks
Yeah.
like, man. Real
because
though.
this dude has like, well, I guess it. Oh yeah, okay, you can barely see it. But he has like scars on his face, but no. The second I saw his dreads down his chest, and the fact he had like fucking shoulder pads on himself, no,
That's
No.
it, huh?
this guy was not.
It was a wrap.
Guy's about his business.
Yeah, no, because the thing is, like, apparently like, this bounty hunter or this Wookiee in specifically would do bounty hunters, or do bounty hunting shit. It was I think I heard it that it was originally for his freedom. Now he just does it for fun. Like,
Oh god. So he just said, "Yeah, I like this shit so much. I just like murking niggas." Ah, yeah.
I just like
Love
to
that shit.
pop people in the knee and just watch them squirm and then kill them and use them as coat.
if they had this be like a rated R thing, I could just see this guy just
Like
Taking
ripping
someone's
people's arms
kneecap.
off. And
taking someone's knee and just like twist it apart like it's a fucking celery stick. Like, I don't know. It's just Chewbacca just looks such like a friendly guy. He looks so happy.
He looks like
nice.
He looks like a teddy bear compared to that Wookiee right
there.
Yeah. And then you have this Wookiee right here, because I don't know, because you couldn't see Chewbacca's eyes. I think the part that scares me a little bit about this character is that you can see this guy staring at you. Like, when he's looking at Boba Fett, he's looking at him like, man, flinch and I got you. Like,
oh god,
I can go on and on about this character. I might rewatch this episode, but man,
yeah, me too. I was
fucking greatness right here.
Y'all making me want to watch this shit now. I think I'm
No, you should.
Watch it,
no, you should.
I mean,
because it kind of still has the same tone like as Mandalorian, but it's just like it's just kind of following. Well, not exactly. Like it's not so much a Western. Like it's more so like, how do I explain it? Like, it's not like, so Mandalorian, like I was saying, it follows more like a traditional like Western shit, you know, spurs and all that shit and the gunfighting and all that stuff. But like this more so is just like characterization for Boba Fett and like letting you know like what he was doing up until now, and then like even after that. So it's not really following like Western shit. Like, and then too, you see like the code that kind of him, like he kind of has his own code, like as long as you don't cross him, you're not gonna die. Like he gives people second chances, which is kind of like, I feel like if you're if you're an underlord, because even Fennec Shan, his like right hand person, she was just like, yeah, nigga, I don't really think that's a good idea. Like, why are you doing that? We should just kill him. But he was just like, yeah, I just prefer to give people second chances.
Boba Fett is getting soft now.
I guess so.
I think it's just because of the Raiders, though, because of the fact that, you know, I think he had in mind that he was just gonna kill him the second he got the chance. But the fact that like he realized that there was like a whole culture, because the whole stereotype about the Raiders was that they were savages, and even like Obi-Wan himself is just like, they're savages, so you know, kill them. Just go ahead and knock them off. But you know, Boba Fett has like a separate. A new perspective about it, so he's just like, if I can get a second chance. I don't know.
Like, I've read a lot of stories. Like, anytime I watch, like, anytime a character in a story or movie or book that I'm reading says, "Oh yeah, those characters are savages," I don't believe them, because they're just stating shit from their own perspective and not even knowing the characters like on a personal level, or like spending long enough time with the person's culture to even understand them. So yeah, I tend to like take that shit with a grain of salt when characters like in shows or movies calls any other character a savage, because most of the time it's just that definition of a savage is just to their own worldview of how they view things. Just because somebody doesn't want to use the same technology you use and doesn't make them savages.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a complaint about it, because, I mean, like, yeah, Boba Fett was a merciless killer. Merciless? Yeah, merciless killer in, like, the old Star Wars films. But that was, like, before he got sucked up by, like, some, like, round on... Yeah, by a Starlight Pit. And then he got... Man... Now I know, because when you had said that one video of like him getting hit in the back of the head.
Oh yeah, that's so.
I didn't know what that was in reference to, but when I saw it, I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like,
dude, that shit
like grabbed her leg and said, "Like, man, get the fuck down."
That was literally. Izzy, you're gonna laugh so hard at that, because like I just couldn't stop laughing, bro. I just rewinded that shit like 3 or 4 times, because that's literally the only time Little Jawas ever fucking did anything. Other than that, like. Nigga, you could just kick him and they're fucking dead. But like, because he was weak on the floor. They like stripped him of his armor and everything. He said no, and they just hit him with the back of their gun.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't die, because like, I don't know, maybe it's just people in Star Wars are just built different. But the fact that he got hit in the back of the head and didn't like suffer a concussion and die in his sleep is beyond me. But
because they hit him pretty hard. They said,
Izzy, like this guy's face. He was done. He was out. Like,
Yeah, his face gets sunk all into the sand. He's oh.
somehow didn't get like rug burn or something like that. I don't know. Like he looked kind of disgusting when like he
Oh
was
yeah,
in
he
the
looked
process of like getting their faith because he's just all dry from the sand and man, it was
yeah. Yeah, they didn't even give him no clothes. They just made him be a dirty ass nigga until he was accepted into their tribe, basically.
yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed this episode a lot, actually. So,
Yeah. It's actually
and
nice
then
to watch Star Wars come back just to kind of separate from Marvel stuff because evidently we're just getting disappointed over and over again with the end of the shows and stuff like that. So
yeah, I hope they can turn that around, like you said, like in terms of COVID and stuff like that. Yeah, you won't have any excuses
don't.
after that shit. After that shit, so
I
And
don't
COVID,
know.
COVID isn't gonna end, bro. That shit is also
no,
perpetual.
I'm not saying it's gonna end. I'm just saying the excuse of COVID is the reason why we couldn't get these cameos done, nigga. Either do it or don't do a cameo or don't do a scene at all. Just leave it blank. Like we don't care.
I mean, at this point, everybody's figuring they have to learn how to work with COVID at this point because that shit ain't going away.
Oh, seriously? Yeah.
Man, I don't even want to go into that just because of
the Obi-Wan show like happening this year.
I think so. Yeah. They're starting to release shit for.
Why are they making an Obi-Wan show again? Isn't that nigga dead?
No, they're doing because they're basically trying to fill in the gap between episode 3 and 4 as much as possible.
What gap?
Man,
There's a gap.
There is a gap. What are you talking about? There's a huge gap. That's why they're having like Jedi Fallen Order and stuff because that's like a span of 18 years. There's a huge ass gap.
This nigga, bro.
What are they gonna say he was doing? This nigga should have been hiding from the Force and hiding without using his Force ability. What is it gonna show him on a farm picking fucking what the hell are Star Wars food anyway?
Well, I mean, like, at this time now, it's like he has to watch out for Inquisitors because they're hunting Jedi like that, and Anakin is clearly under the impression that Obi-Wan would be alive, so like they have Inquisitors hunting for him.
They're bringing back Hayden Christensen too. If you don't know that, is he for?
Yeah, then they're gonna have another fight, so that's gonna be. Oh man, I really hope they do that thing too. Where it's like when they're having a fight, they have like a scene of him as Anakin.
Yeah, that would be sick. What were you gonna say?
They bring him back.
Yeah, as Darth Vader. Yeah.
Okay, so if they bring it, how many times, like in the actual Star Wars lore, how many times did both of them fight though? Because they made it seem like the first, like in the movie, that was the only like that first meeting. They never like met any time before that.
I think in the movie Darth Vader did say we meet again, so like they had at least one more fight before Darth Vader like cut him into a pair of robes.
Okay.
So like there's at least one, but it's just like now that they've expanded this point.
When they said we meet again, I was thinking like that was like the last time they fought was when he talked about Anakin. I have the high ground. Don't do it, bitch.
Yeah, no, he fought him at least once, but you also got to think too, because at this point Obi-Wan still has to fight Darth Maul, and they're gonna boy.
So they're gonna redo the Darth Maul fight again.
I think so. They might make it. They're probably gonna extend it out, but it's just like we're gonna get a lot of Jedi fights.
Well, I am definitely going to watch that because you guys know me. Like the only reason I watch Star Wars is fucking lightsaber battle and Force abilities. So like, I don't really give a shit about the other storytelling crap. That doesn't interest me in Star Wars universe.
I mean, I really just like the more I'm kind of like looking deeper into Star Wars. I really do like the kind of amalgamation of cultural aspects that they bring into the franchise. Like, I mean, George Lucas didn't really do a very good job of it the first time because it honestly just kind of seemed a little weird.
He didn't do a good job out of it at all. It's just like the little part of actually people who are hired later on, who are writing, who extends the universe, are the people who actually brings like more shit to this stuff.
Exactly.
So it's not really him who's really adding anything to it. He already made his money. He doesn't give a shit about that
Well, I mean,
project
he
anymore.
did have like writing. He did have writing control and supervision. It's just that the way
He
that he had
has
the
he had probably supervision where like somebody will come up with something to ask him, do you think this is like a good thing that could be plausible in the universe? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll sign up on that, and something like that along that line. I doubt he came up with anything original at this point. At least in my opinion. I don't know. I'm just stating things that I think because
Well, they took a lot of Asian aspects from it, like when Padme was like the senator and she was Senator Amidala, I think. Or am I thinking of someone else? But basically, like when Padme was like of royalty or of had like a governing position, that was like some Chinese influence in the way that her character would look. I don't know why they made her voice sound the way that they did. Don't do that again. Like, don't ever do that again. That was weird. But
you
yeah.
know, back in the day, movies used to be culturally fucking inappropriate, where they just try to think it's funny to like have people talking funny voices and shit.
I mean,
'Cause that's how they interact with
They made
people.
Jar Jar like pretty much a black character, and I mean the character was black, but they just kind of made him into a coon, like a space coon or something. I don't know, but anyways, yeah. I can't wait for the Obi-Wan show. We're gonna get some good closure with that character is for Ewan McGregor as that character, and hopefully give Hayden Christensen a second chance because man, we've been really tough on certain actors, man. Like first it
Not
was
we. I was not tough on that guy.
no,
I
well,
thought
I
he
mean
was a
like
decent
no, I'm
actor.
not saying like we. I'm just speaking as like a collective, as like
Oh,
moviegoers
I mean,
because
people are
we were
fucking dicks.
yeah, because we were like
Yeah.
people were so harsh on Hayden Christensen that you
They
know
forget that he's human.
yeah, I mean they ruined the kid Jake Lloyd who played the younger version to where turned into like a drug addict. I mean, I'm not saying like that eventually it eventually led to that, but I don't know. I
That's
don't
because
know.
sometimes human beings can separate people who play a character from the people behind the character themselves or whatever. So
Yeah.
at this point, it's kind of stupid where, like, just because you see a movie character on a big screen, you just mistake the person who's in real life as that exact fucking person. That's not how it works, man, guys. Gotta be able to distinguish, like, actual human beings from the actors. The actors from the characters that they're playing in a fucking movie or play or whatever. Because,
Uh,
like,
uh,
I think he could have had like one of those like Keanu Reeves moment where like his younger days is like Star Wars shit, then eventually he became a big super movie star or whatnot. But that didn't
it might.
happen because it kind of fucked with his damn fucking acting career and shit.
Yeah.
It affected Natalie Portman that way too because I remember she said like Star Wars affected her career and then like she didn't have a comeback until like later on. So
She bounced back really well.
She
yep,
did.
now she's Lady Thor and she's
She's
buff as
fucking
shit.
Thor. She got muscles and shit. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, now nobody can disrespect her because I kind of like when actors get to that level where like they can tell like if they go to if they go like for a cast for a role, they can actually like negotiate that fucking role that they want to get instead of them being at the mercy of the production or whatever.
Right. It's true.
yep.
I mean, that is sometimes a good thing and a bad thing, but if the person is a talented actor, then it's a good thing. If they aren't, then it's a bad thing.
Well, let's see. We have two more. You know, I was gonna save. Gosh, you guys want to talk about the weekend and the Megan and Tori thing now, or for the second part?
I do not know what that is.
The weekend he dropped the album.
Well,
Honestly though, I haven't fully listened to it to be
bro,
real with you.
okay, let's talk about it real quick. That album is fire. Like,
Yeah,
it
the first couple songs I listened to it was good though. It was
it
good.
took me a while to kind of get used to it because of the fact that like the
I
weekend,
listened to the entire album. It was like a radio station kind of shit
bro.
going on. I don't know what the hell
It
was
is
going on.
so sick because the fact that like how this man is just like transforming his like style and he's being very experimental with it. I honestly feel like I'm listening to my version of like of Michael Jackson. Like I get the opportunity to listen to the 80s version of Michael Jackson while it's coming out. Like,
I mean, he did have that kind of thriller moment going on in that song.
oh, Sacrifice.
That's yeah.
Yeah, like that's I think that's like one of his top songs in this album so far. But no, I really enjoy hearing, you know, just Abel do his thing. Like the synth pop thing. Honestly, listen to that song, Izzy, and like have like you know you said your brother plays GTA all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It honestly seems like something that would be on GTA.
No,
Because
it did because of that. Like the that's not a saxophone. What's that? Something that looked like a guitar, but it's not a guitar, but it got a piano keys on it.
I don't know what the fuck that is, to be honest. But I know what you're talking about, though.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
That was
about.
the instrument. That was the instrument that I think that was playing. That was playing. That was like an '80s instrument right there. I don't know what the fuck it's called. I don't know. Is it called a keyboard or some stupid shit?
Yeah. Guitar, keyboard, I don't know.
Keytar.
It probably is called that for all I know. I don't know. But I mean, the album is just it's just so unique because of the fact that like again like when you're listening to it, you know, it still kind of seems like he's like reflecting off of like his own choices with like the relationships that he's been in.
Bro, it is called a keytar, by the way.
Oh my god! I mean, it's best to call it something else and just called it something Italian and made it all like super complicated.
Oh god, that's crazy. I just wanted to look it up just because I was curious.
I'm glad you
Oh,
did.
yeah. He played that. That's the like the instrument that was playing most of the time in the background. I think at least that's what I thought it was.
I don't
Because
know.
he always had that '80s vibe stuff going on for his music. You know.
He had it for After Hours, which was like very pop, but this one became very like pop synth. But I think a lot of people are kind of upset over the fact that he's not like sticking to like his dark R&B self from like you know the
Nah,
trilogy days,
I mean,
which.
but that's the thing though. The way his life is moving, even he mentioned it a couple of times in his songs. Like he's evolving.
Yeah.
So which is what he's doing in his music.
Yeah, to expect but that's we talked about this before too. That's the conundrum that artists, and I could definitely say that as an artist myself. It's just like that's the conundrum you're in because you're always evolving as a person. And so when you try to shift your sound, right? Obviously the people that were there from the beginning are like, well, that's different from what you were doing before. But then you're gonna get, let's say you decide, okay, for the next album I'm gonna go back to that dark R&B. Well, now you're upsetting the people that you garnered fans for when you were doing the other thing. So no, you're not really ever gonna make everyone happy. You're kind of just, that's why I appreciate artists who just do what they want to do. That, like someone like Kid Cudi, for instance, I love that guy. Like he just artists like him, or even Weeknd too, where they just stick to their guns and they don't really care. They just kind of like are experimenting and doing things they want to do,
Right.
not
And
because
their
their
music comes out beautifully.
Exactly. And it's not because they're doing it for their fans; they're doing it for themselves. They're just like, okay, I liked what I did on the last album, but let's see if I do this, and then they do it.
But
and then I
think the thing is that separates The Weeknd from everyone else who does experimental stuff. It doesn't work all the time. Like I literally
it doesn't. It doesn't. No,
I literally feel like The
Sometimes
Weeknd is just not missing. I was afraid that this album was just
The
going to be a
Weeknd is
miss.
always on, not always, but like he's been on point with his experimental stuff.
It hasn't sound the same like at all. Like every album that I listen to is not the same, which is just it's completely mind-boggling because it's like, and you guys know how I feel about Drake because I felt like Drake tries to do the same thing, whether he changes his accent or whatever, but it's always
it's still Drake.
It's still just Drake, but like. You know, when I'm listening to The Weeknd, like I feel like I'm in the 80s. And it's surprising. I don't know. I feel like I'm in like the 80s in like Europe or something because I know like pop synth like back in the day, because like my mom used to live in Germany, would play music just like that. That shit used to be like very popular apparently, and having Jim Carrey there as well is such a nice touch because of the fact that how woke this guy is. Like hearing him like talking stuff, I'm like, bruh, if I was high or something, or I was like on just some sort of like paraphernalia, I'd be like in a different world right now.
Yeah, I don't know how that entire thing worked out with it sounding like it's an actual radio station going up, but that shit actually worked, man. Like I listened to the entire album from start to finish, and like, dude, like the entire album started like a damn radio talk show, like a morning radio show or something, but like they're playing music. It's how the entire album started, and it just worked out, man. And the transition was kind of like seamless too. Because every time he's going to transition to another song, then you're going to have like a voiceover or somebody like, I don't know who the hell was talking in the background. You say it's Jim Carrey or whoever.
Yeah, it's Jim Carrey.
But yeah, he would talk like in the background. Then eventually you have that transition.
Yeah, I do gotta say, because I have it marked down here, because when we're talking about this album, it seems like we're kind of heading towards this kind of like 80s like renaissance, right? Because and I know this is a topic too, we're gonna talk about this Megan Tory shit, although I don't really care for that. But even Tory himself, I didn't know he dropped a similar album, not obviously like this is a different album, but he dropped an 80s styled album, and I actually listened to it. It's pretty good, actually. So it seems like, I don't know, some of these artists, like, they're kind of trying to experiment and bring new sounds in, which I think is a good thing, because sometimes music gets into this slump where everyone's doing the same thing, right? So experimenting is a good thing.
Everybody's going through that stupid ass phase where like you don't hear the lyrics and people are just fucking mumbling shit under that voice and crap. That's phasing out little by little. So I guess they're going back to where like great music was made, which is like 80s and
90s and 90s. Yeah. I'm for it, man. I'm for it. It's a refreshing thing for sure. Yeah. And I need to listen to the rest of the what I've listened to of the Weeknd album so far, though. It was good. I enjoyed it. It really does feel like it was like I'm listening to some talk show and they're playing song. Like it's dope. It's dope.
I think the ones you might like the most towards the end, like, man, he just does not let up towards the end. Because I Heard You're Married featuring Lil Wayne and Less Than Zero. That shit is just. I accidentally listened to the album twice in one sitting because of the fact that I didn't like. There was no like end point for me. It just felt like one constant loop.
Yeah, that's one thing I've heard people say is like the cohesiveness of it is like. It just all flows. Like there's no like break. So that's dope. That's dope.
This man is just, man, I swear to God, man, I feel like it's such a nice thing to just have our own Michael Jackson. And I mean, we're not gonna get to that level like ever. I don't think. I mean, because The Weeknd can't really dance. He doesn't have like the talents of like Michael Jackson to like that degree. But it's just like his flow, his style, and everything is just so diverse. But
right.
No, I want to talk about the Megan and Tory thing because of the fact that everyone was talking about it, and like
you guys are gonna have to give me a background.
Well, because remember how like
it's just
Tory
basically
like
the whole shit like with Tory.
Oh, you mean like the gunshot first? The gunshot people?
Yeah, because the fact that like Megan said that Tory shot her. But it was kind of weird because the fact that like it. Never mind.
You could skip it now. What's currently going on? I think I got.
No, it's just the fact that they think that Megan might be lying because her story's constantly changing, and like
there we go.
A lot of people kind of thought, and I was like one of those people that were skeptical because of the fact that she got shot in the foot, and yet like a month later she was like dancing on stage, which isn't even physically possible.
Oh shit.
And the thing is, though, it's like not even to just go inside like the whole like Megan versus Tory thing, like in its entirety. It's just the fact that if this was a lie, Tory's whole entire image was basically destroyed by not just Megan, but media personalities and just like the media in general and like other like record label industries.
Yeah, and if that's the case, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. But you gotta wonder because, like, yeah, I don't really care for the case itself at this point. I just think it. I don't know. When it first came out, I was inclined to believe her story just because, I until proven wrong, I guess. But we're so far removed from this shit at this point that it's just kind of like if it is like, as you have to stay here, a juicy Smoulier situation. Uh, wouldn't both of them benefit from some shit like that though? Don't you think?
Not
Because that's
not
negative
really.
press. That's negative press.
No, because the fact
Regardless.
that like when I was hearing
That's
about it,
criminal.
people
That's
were
a criminal case, bro.
yeah,
That
people
is
were
Ain't nobody
talking
gonna do
about killing
damages from
Tory
that
and
shit.
shit like that. They wanted to beat him up. Like it literally, it literally messed with the like his
Yeah,
entire
that's true.
relationship with everyone. And the
That
thing
is
that
true. Yeah.
Joe Budden talked about, which surprised me, I was like, wow, that's very insightful. Was the fact that he was like, if people really believed Tory was like did all this shit, rappers like Drake and shit would not be hanging around him because they're very brand conscious as far as like who they're
That
around
Oh,
is
with.
true.
With Nike and all
That's
that
true.
shit going
That's
on.
true. Yeah.
Yeah,
No one be fucking with this guy. That's true.
yeah,
Because you take a look at someone like Drake specifically. This nigga has to, because of a lot of his branding, he has to have a clean image. He has to. So
yeah,
you really think he would hang around with someone like Tory? Fuck no, he wouldn't.
yeah,
That's a good point. That's a good
yeah.
point. Yeah.
So it's just like they people in the industry already know, but it's just like her story is constantly changing as far as like what she was talking about, and people are just like, I don't know about this right here. Like this is looking a little sus, Meg. Like you need to explain this. And I ain't gonna lie, I am the type of person who hates false accusations. And if that is actually true, she should go to jail for that. That's conspiracy. Like I don't care as far as
Yeah,
like what she's
especially
done.
especially in terms of like you basically, what's the word I'm looking for?
Landon.
Slander, yeah, of that nature. You did that whole defamation of character shit, which is like that's really fucked up to do.
Yeah, no, because
Yeah.
like the thing is though, it's like throughout this entire thing, cause I'm not, I know you weren't paying attention to the whole thing being, but like I would just hear
Nah.
about it. But like she went on like a fucking like campaign to cancel this guy. Like when he like showed up for like the baby, she was like why is he here? Like you're gonna have this woman shooter in the concert, and people are like, bro, like I understand you got shot. I'm not saying I said this, but some people are like, bro, I know you got shot, but shut the fuck up. Like he's doing his own thing. He's not interacting with you. Like, and I don't know. Like I said, it just seemed very suspicious that she got shot one minute in her foot, both her feet, mind you, and then she was like okay, like the next month where she was
Bro,
dancing on stage, and I can
she's
tell
a
you that doesn't
she's a
happen.
mutant though. She got the X-Men ability, the
Well,
healing
she had
factor of the Wolverine genes.
clearly she does because I didn't know about this. I mean, I guess I kind of did because there are a lot of bones in your feet. But you get shot in the foot, bruh. You think you're walking the next day? Fuck no. Those bones are shattered until they're like properly healed up. And I do not believe Megan Thee Stallion is indeed a mutant. If so, see you in Doctor Strange 2, bitch, because
A view. That's funny. Oh,
whatever
that makes
happens, I guess it happens. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't know. That's kind of why I'm just kind of over this, because I remember initially, like, yeah, you're supposed to take a side or whatever the fuck that was when it first happened. But
Who's
honestly,
supposed
man,
to take a side? Nobody
it
makes
honestly,
anybody take a side of shit.
no, you really shouldn't, honestly. And now, like, like I said, we're
Make your
so
own
far
judgment from
removed from
information.
this whole ordeal that it's just like I don't give a fuck like anymore. No one
I
cares.
don't care
No,
either.
no one gives a shit, bro. Like
I never did.
like
I
it
only
is
brought
what
it up
it is.
because I just thought it was interesting, and just the whole like not even just them surrounding it. It was just like the way that people were treating the whole thing initially, and it's just cancel culture. It's just kind of pure and simple, just cancel culture without having full context, and yeah, that's essentially it. But are you guys ready to transition into the second part of the two-parter podcast?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, so this is episode 11 of the Kai Beam podcast. Join us back on the second part. I said episode 2. Join us back at the second part of the two-parter for the New Year's comeback. And yeah, you guys got any closing thoughts before we come back?
No, not really.
All right, we'll catch y'all later.